Okay, so hopefully I've got through some of my own technical issues here. Hi, it's running up on 1600 hours here on Wednesday, May the 21st, and I'm doing a quick little series of clips on just, I guess, what I've learned about doing video and streaming. This is kind of a detailed one, so I'll say that I've got about a quarter century of experience I'm trying to put in here in terms of wisdom. Most of my experience is theoretical, so when I get into doing YouTube, which is new for me, and doing streaming, which I've only been doing for a couple of months, I can actually put in a little bit of unbiased analysis, I guess. A little bit of a disclaimer that some of the issues I'm talking about in these series of clips I'm working on, from YouTube to streaming and how you can make your video better, some of these issues I'm discussing are actually ongoing and a part of the production here of these videos. So this is the part 2, and I just called it truncated audio. I hope that's good. Truncated, I just thought, is the best word over the past few years to describe the situation. Actually, over the past several years working with computers and video. So to start with, because it's kind of a detail that's not easy to explain, I hope I can do it in a video for you, one video. There's a rule of thumb. The rule of thumb is that no computer video is one recording. Basically, by and large, it's either 2, maybe more than 2 recordings. Usually it's 2 recordings. Now what those recordings are actually is one is your video and one is your audio. But the point that's very important is to understand they are separate recordings. They are separate files. It's like having a book over here and a magazine over here, and we're relating the two, but they're 2 totally separate and distinct things, entities, if you will. So, video recorders and video recording. Any video recorder here, whether it's in the server cloud on the web or whether it's on your computer, that is going to truncate your audio. And truncate means you're cutting a part of the audio out, just as though you pressed, mute and the audio disappeared, right? It is likely a result of something that relates to a thing called keyframes. And the frames has to do with the video aspect of your video rather than the audio. It is a very, very, very poor way of doing something that's been very important in the mathematics of our culture of computers as it relates to video, and that is a thing called compression. So I've given you 2 terms there, keyframes and compression. I've probably lost you by now, I don't know. Basically the idea here is the early problem that you're going to run into with an internet or a web is videos are very large in memory and it takes time to load it onto your computer. That's very frustrating for people. They don't want frustration, and if there's enough frustration, people just won't use it. Okay, so what happened was ways were developed to make video smaller in memory so that it loads on your computer faster. This is what we call compression. You squish that video into a smaller space, it loads onto your computer from my computer much faster, and vice versa. So one of the ways, the little tricks they're using here is you've got your audio, which is a separate file. You're hearing my audio, but you're also seeing my lips move, right? And so that's the video part, or if the video is over here, say. What we have to do is make the words coming out of my mouth, which is the audio going to the microphone, synchronize with the video that you're seeing through the camera. That's called synchronization. We do that using a keyframe, which means every once in a while, say every few seconds, every several seconds, we just lock down a keyframe, and it just takes a fraction of a second, and all that does is the computer sews together that period of that millisecond in time with the particular frame of video that's being displayed at that time, and so it resynchronizes it. The problem with doing this is it takes memory, but it doesn't take a lot of memory. So there's all this competition to make better compression that we've come full circle and produced a compression that is too good. It's so good that it sucks bad, because and it's the first thing I came across with YouTube users. I'm new to YouTube, but a few years ago, one of the first problems I came across with those who were using it is they would put their video up, and particularly with longer videos, say like a 20-minute video or something. By the time they get halfway through watching their video, the audio is seconds, even a whole minute out of sync. So it's like you say something, and I'm speaking, and then a minute later you hear the words that I say. Okay, I think you know what I'm talking about when I say that. I know it's a complicated issue to explain. I think it'd be nice if video developers made keyframes and keyframe adjustments a part of the learning curve here for average users, because we really have to contend with things like truncated audio. You can accurately determine here, just to get right into it, when you've got audio missing from your video, you can very quickly determine how much has been cut off by watching your video through to the end, and then record or measure the length of time from when your audio ends to where your video ends. And that length of time is approximately, or even precisely, down to perhaps 1 millisecond or a few milliseconds, or even less than that. Even truncated from your video production. Okay? That's how you can determine. Now, I'm just throwing out all kinds of information here. What's the answer here? One of the answers that I've come across, and this has really come out definitely in my streaming, but I've done this all the time from the moment I've been doing video. Take notes. I'm looking at some notes over here in a text file on my computer screen. It looks like I'm not being spontaneous with you. There's so many good things about taking notes, though. And one of the things about taking notes is it's a quick reference to what you're doing. So afterwards, when you've done it, and this is a very hard thing, I think, for the English-speaking world to get, after you've done it, you can go back, and when you've got a problem, you can fix it. Okay? You don't have to be all gung-ho about everything being perfectly set up and everything working perfectly, and then as soon as there's a mistake, you just blow your mind because you got to do the whole thing over again. And another example of a good solution that's kind of similar to taking notes is to do your video production as a vlog, like I'm doing the second part here in a series of video. This, instead of doing tagged videos where you just do a video clip, throw it out on the internet, and then have the right tags with it, and then people search for the right tags and get your video that way, which is